Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome to the 8th day of Christmas. This is a beautiful day to be alive. 2020 is behind us, and 2021 lays gloriously ahead of us. This morning, as it is New Year's Day, I wanted to talk not so much about pandemic, but about what we hold on to and what we hold sacred and how we share ourselves with God today as we approach this new year and all that it holds. I was reading in my devotional, the Coffee with God devotional, about Sarah and her husband were hosting a New Year's Eve party for the people in a shelter homeless shelter that they volunteered in, and they didn't have enough room to feed them all with a really good meal, so invited them to their home. And while her husband was preparing the meal and laying the table, he was concerned about what to use for all the glasses for the sparkling non-alcoholic drinks that he was going to share. And he was hesitant about using the two antique wine glasses that were from his family, given to them at their wedding. He was afraid someone might break them. And then he realized that he was serving the people of God, that regardless of whether they were homeless or not, they were as important as any other guest who would come into their home to be served with these antique wine glasses. And so he used them. And then ironically enough, later in the evening when he was washing the dishes, he dropped one of them and it broke. But it made me think of the ways that we celebrate, the ways that we hold on to a little bit, we hold something back, that just in case moment for what makes this the day, the meal that we use our wedding china, or what makes this the day that we don't invite so-and-so because, they're a bit of a wet blanket, but we will invite so-and-so because, they're the life of the party. In 2021, I think we have to think a little bit more about who we invite to our party. When I was growing up, I read about a family who always set an extra chair at the table, and they called it the Elijah chair. And as they were a farm family, you'd think that no one would ever just drop by. But amazingly enough, quite often someone would come to the door looking for help or looking for just a place to sit down, looking for maybe some food. And they often had someone sitting at the table, and when they came into the room, the chair was there, the table setting was set, and they felt like they were expected. We are always expected to expect God, wherever God might show up, however God might show up, and in whomever God might show up. We always need to have an Elijah chair. We always need to remember that we, as it says in Hebrews, we might entertain angels unknowingly. In 2021, how can we as Christians in our own personal lives, in our homes, with our families, in our churches, and indeed in the church as we are seeing it right now, how can we prepare that Elijah chair? How can we be prepared to entertain angels unknowingly? When might Christ be present when we don't expect him? I think that's what we need to focus on. Not so much on the difficulties that we have been through and the fact that we don't know where we are yet going, but on the fact that wherever we are, whenever we sit down to break bread together, whenever we have a cup of coffee, this is a very large cup, your perspective of your computer is not wrong. This thing is holds like a gallon of coffee. It's much needed these days. A gift from Rob for Christmas. Whenever we wake up in the morning, we need to really think, how do we look for God? How do we invite God into our home? Over Christmas, I was listening to the radio and I heard a song by Reba McEntire. She's one of my all-time favorite singers, and she sang a song narrates a Christmas song about an older man who has a dream that on Christmas Day, Jesus is going to come to his door. And so he prepares a beautiful meal. He lights a wonderful fire in the fireplace, and he waits, quietly waiting. And up to the door comes someone who is hungry and is cold, and he welcomes him in, and he's disappointed that Jesus isn't there. But he welcomes him in and sits him at his table and feeds him a beautiful meal and keeps him warm by the fire. And then this stranger disappears. He leaves. And later on, this man, I think his name is Charlie, prays, "Okay, God, I'm waiting for Jesus. When is he coming?" And on the door knocks an old woman who is in need of some companionship and some assistance. And he invites her in, and he takes care of her. And then when she leaves, he again says, "Okay, God, thank you for that, but where are you? When am I going to see Jesus today?" And later in the evening, a young child knocks on the door who's become lost and needs to find her family. And Charlie helps her out. And then when she finds her family and goes on her way, Charlie realizes the day is over and Jesus hasn't come. And he goes to bed and he prays a prayer and asks God, "Why didn't Jesus come to me today?" And in the night he dreams that God speaks to him and says, "But I did. I was present, Jesus was present in the man you fed a meal to, in the old woman you share companionship with, in the little girl that you help find her family." Jesus comes to us all the time and we don't recognize him. And maybe in 2021, that's a resolution that we can work on together. How do we recognize Jesus in our midst? Because he is always here. Sometimes we need to be the one in whom Jesus is found. Sometimes we're the one who needs the companionship or help when we're lost, or a warm meal when we are empty. But more often than not, I believe that we are the one who is called to seek and find Christ in others, to really reach out to them and recognize that in doing so, we are serving Christ. We are seeking out and serving him in the least of these. So this day and in every day that comes in the next 365, let's work together and work on our own to remember, how do we, as individual Christians, but also as communities, as members of St. Mary's in Edgerton or St. Thomas in Wainwright or wherever we're from, how do we as a community look for Christ, set that Elijah chair and really set that chair with a table setting and enough food to go around, that whoever comes to our door may find that Christ is welcome in whoever they are. Let's work together to ensure that 2021 is a year of door openings and welcoming and healing and hope and sharing the good news of Jesus Christ with all whom we meet. Because in doing that, we really do set ourselves up that when we need to meet Jesus ourselves, we will find him. We will do our best to seek and serve Christ in others. But on those times, in those moments, in those days when we are feeling lost, or we are feeling overwhelmed by the world around us and wondering where Christ might be, we will be able to open our eyes and recognize that others are serving us as well, and showing us that Christ has become servant as we are served. God bless you in this new 2021. I don't know what it will hold for you or for me, our families, our churches, our communities, our province, our country, our world, but I do believe that it will hold moments of grace and peace. I believe that it will offer us opportunities to be Christ-like to others and to see Christ in the world. Have a wonderful day. God bless you. Stay home. If you have to go out, wear a mask. And I'll see you tomorrow. We'll do an odd Saturday church at home. God bless everybody.